So life is good now, huh?
Life is great.
Happy?
I'm very happy, and it's like I do this class, and it's all what's the key to happiness, and it's perception. You know what I mean? You got to make it, and it just help others, and just be real about it.
So if there was somebody out there that's sitting in a similar situation right now, hadn't seen their kids in a couple of years, just really think there's no way out of the position and situation they're in, what's something you'd tell them? What's one thing that you would tell them to hold on to? Or what's one thing that you think they could do right now to help them get started?
Don't be afraid of the unknown. Because
Scary.
the unknown is the
It
most
is.
scariest thing there is. Because, I mean, I was afraid to go to rehab. I was afraid to get off the streets because I was comfortable. Get out of your comfort zone and just have faith.
Being afraid will put you in an early grave, too.
It do.
So many people are just so afraid to
They
take
are.
that first step,
The
make that
unknown.
call or whatever, and next thing you know, I mean, I saw something on Facebook this morning, somebody died last night in an alley over in Huntington.
I've seen that too.
And you got to think, man, if they'd have just had the courage or the support or something to make the call, they could have been like this young lady right here.
What would you say to that person out there that's maybe just really struggling or just don't think that they're 50 years old? Why do I do it now?
Man, I don't know. Don't give up. You know, they always have all these cliche sayings, and don't give up until the miracle happens, and the miracle happens. You know, and I used to hate when people would say that. I'm like, what's the miracle?
What's
What
the
is
miracle?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm living the miracle.
Oh.
So, like for me, it would be don't give up until the miracle happens, because it will happen.
None of that scared me. Star didn't scare me. Prison didn't scare me. I've been twice, and I wish I could say that that's what did it for me, and it wasn't. I got high the day I left prison.
You told me standing right over here one day, you said you were offered a deal, something where if you stayed so long, you get paper, and you said, I don't want the paper, I'm going to serve my time because I'm not ready to quit using it.
I knew I
Tell you
wasn't.
right now.
Yep, I knew I wasn't ready. They offered me 6 months in rehab and to continue with probation, and I told them no.
Go to prison.
I'm going to prison because I had less time to do in prison than I did on probation, and I knew I wasn't done, and I knew that I was going to mess up my probation anyway and end up in prison anyway. So I was like, let's just get off this merry-go-round, you know. So fast forward a little bit, I got pregnant, met my father's child, ended up pregnant. Excuse me. She was born addicted to heroin. I found out I was pregnant 4 months, I think. I just didn't know because I was that messed up. And
So
I didn't.
4 months, you find out you're pregnant.
Yeah,
Like
around
what-
that time, yeah.
So what happens? Like, does that anything like this big thing click? Like motherhood starts hollering, "Hey, Mallory!"
Still not yet.
No,
Just not-
I wish I could say that it did,
I
but
get
it didn't.
I get it.
Absolutely.
I continued to use, gave birth to my daughter, and again, she was born addicted to heroin. She had to stay in the NICU. I had an open CPS case. I was not allowed to be alone with my daughter that I had just given birth to. Wasn't allowed to be alone with her. I still wish I could say that was enough, and it wasn't. I don't really know where it clicked. I just know that it clicked because, like Kathy said, I did not want to go to treatment. I think I went just to appease people because that's what I had done. I would get clean long enough to get people off my back, so to speak, and so that was my plan. I remember looking at Donna and saying, I'm not going to stay clean. Because I had no intention of staying clean at the time. I was just going to get this CPS thing done and over with and get people off my back. And somewhere along the way, I looked at that baby and I said, no one's going to raise her but me. I'm going to raise this baby. So I think that's what clicked for me. And I just got tired. I just got tired of that life. I was exhausted. I was just tired of it. And so that's what clicked for me, I think, is being a mother.
There's that.
Don't shut the door on people that love you. That's usually the first thing that I do. I will go and I will make it a point not to be around the people that really, really love you. And if I can do it, I wish you could. I have mug shots. You guys got to show one on here.
You showed me.
Yeah.
If you can show one on here.
I'm
if I
sure
can
we can.
make it out of that, anybody can make it. Because I was the kid that was supposed to die. For sure.
You said one thing a while ago that made me think. I've got 19 years under my belt, but I think during all that time, I've talked about it before with Caitlin, my child, and so forth, kept me so. But I honestly don't think, in the toughest of times, I could have ever stayed sober, remained sober, if I didn't have the ability to go try to help somebody. It is the only thing at times in my life that fulfilled me. When I could go out, I mean, I'm making money like you wouldn't believe. I had everything. I could go buy a new car. It fulfilled me for probably by the time I wrote the signature on the loan. But the fulfillment that I got from reaching out to somebody, you know, that I knew or maybe going through a tough time and sharing and talking and encouraging allowed me 19 years of sobriety. And the day that I think that I, to whatever degree it is, whether it's on a stage in front of 10,000 or it's in a room with 4 or 5 or it's you and I talking on the telephone or it's anything, the day that I could not be of assistance to somebody in our world of addiction is probably the day I relapse. And I think that's why I try to dabble in it, to have my foot in it so I can have conversations with you. And you call up the other morning, text me at 5 o'clock in the morning going, hey, you ever been through this? I mean, I'm like, all right, let me see, have I?
Yeah.
You know, it makes me excited. You know, can I help? Is there something I can do? And so what you said, I think is so important when you said, you know, when you can just offer help to people. You know, at the end of the day when you lay down, I've always said, and I'll shut up, God, you know, would never allow me to go to heaven on records sold or knowing people or a status symbol. But I think at the end of the day, he would say, you know, job well done for these little things that we do here.
Who would have ever thought, for real, like, you know, like many others, I didn't think that this life was even possible for me. You know, my kids were adults, you know what I'm saying, by the time I finally decided to do something different. And in my mind, I thought I lost so much, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely.
But then over the last 5 years, I've done more in 5 years than I've done in the 51 years that I've lived.
Right. Oh, wow.
So I've been able to live and get back these relationships with my kids, you know, and now I have 8 grandkids. And it's weird how life works. And I always look back and I think to myself, like, it was supposed to be this way. It was supposed to be this way.
Yeah.
Like, the people that came into my life and that are in my life, it was supposed to be this way. And sometimes, you know, you feel guilt and remorse, but my kids, like, I don't think they could have had a better version of me than what they have now.
I know one of the things that got me sober and kept me sober this time is when my daughter said, Mom, I smoke weed now. Maybe I'm cool enough to hang out with you. And she said that on Easter 2021. Mm-hmm. My clean date is 4/26/2021.
That's when you decided it was time.
Yeah, and I had the hardest time in groups because I wanted to be her friend still because she was telling me things and not telling her dad. Like, she was telling me real life things, and then she had to put up a facade to feel like she fit into that family or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I never wanted her to not tell me the things because I wanted to know. But then again, the better that I got myself, the less I wanted to know and the more I wanted to parent. Very hard. I cried more times than I didn't, trying to get her to understand that I cannot just be your friend. Like, I have to be your mom. And this is literally why I'm in recovery, to be this little girl's mom and show her how to not die out here.
Absolutely
Isn't
not.
that funny?
I can't
Yeah.
imagine doing anything else. It's just very rewarding. It's heartbreaking, but also very rewarding.
I always said too, you know, I don't, regardless of what my career takes and turns, I don't think I could ever not be somewhat of a part of the addiction world, because I think everybody needs friends, needs acquaintances, needs motivation, and needs help. And I'm glad you got it.
What would you say to that person out there that's maybe just really struggling or just don't think that they're 50 years old? Why do I do it now?
Man, I don't know. Don't give up. You know, they always have all these cliche sayings, and don't give up until the miracle happens, and the miracle happens. You know, and I used to hate when people would say that. I'm like, what's the miracle?
What's
What
the
is
miracle?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm living the miracle.
Oh.
So, like for me, it would be don't give up until the miracle happens, because it will happen.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've had some stuff that's happened during your recovery, and it's a good thing to have because, like you said, if they're not breathing, we can't help them.
Right,
So always call, always message, and never think that your story is so horrible that someone does not want to help you because there's
I
so
can
much.
imagine between her and Donna and everybody else here,
Uh-huh.
myself, it's not the worst.
No,
You
no,
know,
yeah.
Never be afraid to call,
Yes.
even if you're a parent, a sister or a brother. And
Yeah.
you know, that was what happened to us last week. It was a parent calling, and then you know, of course, the child wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But kudos to the mom
Oh,
for going.
gosh.
You know, man, my daughter needs help. Don't
Yeah.
ever be afraid. We'll put a number up. Like I said,
Yeah.
everything you need to know is on the website.
It
And
is.
emails, phone numbers, and so forth.
It's
And,
everything.
you'll be, man, you don't know whose life you saved.
You have no idea. I'll never forget coming home from prison, and when I was in prison, and people would call my mom, my sister, like, how did you guys get cat help? Like, what did you guys do? And my story was different. It was prison, but and that now it's not so socially ashamed. You're not so ashamed to ask.
Right,
And I
absolutely.
think that anybody, a parent that does, man, that just warms my heart because you don't
Absolutely.
know.
You got
A
it.
lot of people walk away from their family when they're in dire straits like that. So.
Well, we thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank
Good to
you.
see you again. All right, y'all know what to do. We're always here for you. And like we always say, if you don't get help here, just for God's sakes, get help somewhere.